ใครที่กำลังสงสัยว่าชีวิตการเรียนที่สิงคโปร์เป็นอย่างไรถ้าหากเรียนสิงคโปร์แล้วไปต่ออะไรได้บ้างและที่เด็ดไปกว่านั้นเตรียมสอบสิงคโปร์อย่างไรให้ผ่านวันนี้ครูเน่จาก Cubris Education มีสกู๊ปสัมภาษณ์พิเศษกับหนึ่งในพาร์ทเนอร์โฮมสเตย์ของเราที่สิงคโปร์มาฝากค่ะWe have with us here Teacher Vivien from Pantheon Singapore. Thank you, Vivien, for joining us today.
Thank you.
I think our work relationship goes all the way back because we were both from the same primary school and also secondary school. How did your Singapore education, that you went through the primary school and secondary schools at St. Margaret's, did it make any impact in your life?
I think for both of us, I guess the culture of our school is very embedded because we spent 10 years of our most important years pretty much in the same culture. So, from primary school, you sort of like learned a lot of the, how is it like being in a girls' school? I think the womanhood as in the ties is very strong. I think with the bonds with as in that I would say the confidence. So I think that really stems out from our primary school where we never have to dealt with any other situations that was not in school. I think St. Margaret's girls are not just confident, but we are also more compassionate, which is nice. I mean that's really good. Because when we get into secondary school, I guess we had more opportunities. I mean, we were in the same batch where we were under the same principal, Mrs. Lee. So I think she infused a very strong entrepreneurship, moral. A lot of strong women thinking, logic of doing things. So that really, I mean, the 4 years in St. Margaret's it's not easy because we were given a lot of opportunities. Yeah, we were given a lot of opportunities not just to study but also to develop our leadership talent and the school activities. But I mean, looking back now, I can't believe how much sleep I'm getting also because it's just so busy. You got schoolwork and then you got your duties and then your CCA and then your tuition and then the remedial. So to me, I feel like in those days, wow, you're so motivated to do a lot of things. I think towards the O-levels year, I would say my Sec 4 year, it was really good because yes, the O-level years was the hardest years because you are so stressed. You're really, really stressed. Everybody is stressed for O-levels. But so far, my classmates are really helpful. Yes. So I'm not very good at math. And then a lot of my friends would actually stay back just to help each other to study. Correct. So you have a lot of informal study groups, which, even teachers, are really good in giving us notes. So even if we didn't ask for it, I mean, in those days, there's no Google Classroom or Google Drive. So our teachers would really print out the notes and just ask us to go through this or, just having a lot of chat with us. But it's not I would say the St. Margaret teachers are very specific. They will go straight into it. What is your weakness? What is the biggest problem? Yes, I think some of the HODs, I remember one of the job HODs, I can't remember her name. She'll be like, you don't have to spend too much time on this. All you have to do is just work this out, do the format and everything. And I was like, wow, okay. So to me, back in those days, I'll be so overwhelming, right? But if you think about it now, those are the things that is actually useful. Those are the ones that actually.
Yes, I think I totally agree with you, Dad, because I think I've learned so much from going to Singapore because I'm coming from a Thai background. Before I moved to Singapore, I was a very lazy kid. I think going through the Singapore system, it has helped and reshaped my life. Level does have the intense moments where you just sort of drill through, and but it really did prepare ourselves for the university learning style, I have to say. I think after you pass through the O-levels, it becomes really easy when you look back now, you could have done it at the snap of
I would always compare O-levels is like giving birth. If you've done it the first time, the second time, third time it gets easier.
So after graduated, where did you go?
So obviously after your O-levels, back in our time, we had 3 months of break. So then, because my forte is more humanities and everything, so they say that England is more suitable for you. Like in England, right, there's either London, Oxford, or Cambridge. There's only these 3 cities that you want to go. And my mom said that, oh, less distraction, safe. So university town. So it's either Oxford or Cambridge. But no, between Oxford and Cambridge, everyone in Singapore is like Cambridge. So I don't have much choice. so I left. and we make the decision really fast. So when my teacher and my mother was like, okay, that's it. And then we just go. It was within 1 week.
Though, because then it does establish the fact that, when you choose Singapore as a place of study, you do not have to follow it all the way through. You could have used this as a foundation to further your degree elsewhere. It doesn't have to be just in Singapore. It's not permanent.
Yeah.
But Singapore education, I think we all can say it for both of us that have been through it. We do know that it does provide a strong foundation for you to progress and move on.
I started with MOE, working for Ministry of Education. Like what we call is basically assessment officer. You assess the school, what they need, you go in, talk to the teachers, go in, talk to the principal, blah, blah, blah. Then you write a report, and then they'll decide. It was because of through this exposure, it really gave me insight. What is AEIS? How is school doing? Private sector, language. So one of my jobs was actually going to homestays. I will have to go into these houses to find out where our foreigner kids are staying from government schools. So I was very shocked, like the conditions that I've been seeing and the system that I've seen. Because I live in homestays, like in UK, like for my A-levels. And and then after that, I'll be like, I can do this much better.
Well, that was 8 years ago. So you've gone from someone who worked with the British government, coming back to Singapore, worked with the MOE, had lots of contacts with the schools all around Singapore, have knowledge in the education field with the connections of teachers. I think that's what set your homestay and tuition services apart from the rest of our homestay partners.
We're very different from other homestays because I think homestays in the long-term relationship is literally like a tenant and a landlord relationship. I feed you, I clothe you, I shelter you. I think that's it. So, but because I think for both me and Sue, because we went to overseas, we've been in Singapore, we don't come from a perspective that we're doing this as a business sense. We don't take it to the sense of like it's cost and reward to that, to the ultimate like $1 and how much the output is. Being in that situation where the kids are alone, you are the only person they can rely on, and the students that you put in together are basically going to be friends that are going to be for a very long time. That relationship. So for better homestays, I would say that it is our job as guardians to facilitate that. It's not just about looking after you. I always tell my kids, you guys with me on average is 5 years. I've done
That's
this
true.
with me.
We have a lot of kids.
Yes, which is quite scary. It means from primary school all the way to secondary school. So if they don't know anything, it's to me it's really bad. Like I have not done a job with to teach you anything. So that is why, because coming from my background, even though I'm not a teacher per se, but I'm using what I've learned from school, what I learned in university, and my experience in ministry, like how ministry trained their teachers. I'm just putting all this to fit into our students. The teaching part actually replaced the welfare part. We don't have to sit down and watch them. We're just making use of the time while we're teaching, while we're guiding, while we're getting them academically good. We're actually supervising them at the same time. They know that when I'm strict, it's strict. When it's time to play, we play. When it's time to work, we work. You're here to do well, and you can do well with the set of skills that I'm teaching you. I think the Thai students, generally, they do quite well over time. Our Thai kids, right, after they get it, they will do it, they'll put in the effort, they'll put in the time, and because they're more positive, I would say Thai kids they are like so positive. It's really good because it really helps them to de-stress. As in the learning gets a bit more, demanding. But it's the initial stage. And the initial stage, I think with PUM, I think it took about almost 2 years. I would say my students put in at least 4 hours a day with me every day.
So your recommended time is 4 hours a day to master the materials that is needed for the exam.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah. Yes, because to pass the AIS exam, right, it's not just about 100 marks, you get 50, you pass, you know. You have to understand this is an exam, not because the government needs these students. The government is looking for elite. It changes the parameter of this exam. You're not there to pass. You're there to be the top 1%. And I can't even tell you if it's 3% or 1% because the numbers every day changes. Realistic. This is not an exam to get into a school. It's not a placement test. It is a elite exam. That is, you're not only dealing with Chinese kids, Thai kids, Vietnamese kids, you're dealing with everybody. You don't know. Every year we're looking at average about 1,200 per level of students taking the exam.
Right.
And 100 plus out of the cohort passes. So if your kid is being selected, you've got to understand, like, it doesn't matter what school they go, they are already in the top 1%. Yes, so between the 3 components in terms of English, you have your essay writing, your composition, your composition writing, your vocab, and your grammar. Out of the 3, the easiest is your grammar. So always try to get 10 marks for that grammar component. Because if you've done enough exam papers, you have seen enough the patterns, always the same patterns comes out. So that you need to score a 10. Now, the second one, the easiest, is actually composition. The reason why I say it's easy because you actually construct the way how you write. So if you have enough experience in terms of practices and power words and words that you are doing, so consistent writing, that too should already give you a good lead. Now, to differentiate you from the top 1% or the top 3% or even the 5% is your vocabulary. So over the years, we realized that vocabulary has becoming more and more important. Where are they actually differentiating the students from in terms of passing and not passing will be your vocabulary. So your vocabulary must be strong. And of course, the fastest way to learn vocabulary is to do prefix and suffix. That is the fastest. To learn your prefix, learn your suffix.
น้องๆจำมันคำได้ดีนะคะ prefix and suffix เนี่ยจะช่วยเราเนี่ยเดาคำศัพท์ได้ you can guess the words with knowing prefix and suffix.
And because of this very special time, because we don't know when this will be gone or when this will be lifted and you know when normality will return, I think just focus on the basic things first. If this period you can only do grammar, go and do grammar until you're so good at it. Then you will actually minimize your burden when all this happens. Right. You know, you can do. Or if you feel like because composition is so difficult, you're not following through, nobody's supervising you, then don't do that first. Learn your spelling. Do the power words, learn the spelling, do some vocabulary because it's smaller, it's shorter.
And actually, I think with the past AEIS that was held, I think there were more people than any other year. A lot more people traveling just to do the exams when it's during the travel restriction. So I think the demand to go to Singapore will keep going up. Good news there because Vivien is also having her online course. Would you like to share more about your course for us?
We're doing the AIS course, which is mostly focusing on secondary and primary English and math. So math will be taught by my sister, English will be taught by me. But because of the timing issues and, you know, maybe every student have different online schedule, we have a very good teachers supporting us as well. So these are actually my AIS students who are in university. So they are very good at, they understand the standards that they're
they've
doing.
Been through the actual exam, they know exactly what to expect so they can pass on the knowledge to the students.
And they have tips as well. So myself and Patricia will be running the masterclass. So masterclass are basically like key fundamentals that we'll be teaching. And then our teaching assistants, they will be like helping to follow up. So maybe memorizing powers, doing grammar laws, like going through and everything.
your course delivery, what would they expect to receive from you?
Okay, so of course we'll be delivering through Zoom. We will send in the materials for the parents to print it out. And once we finish the session, we will definitely also record the session and we can share with the parents.
So classes are structured 3 hours a day, 1.5 hours in the morning, 11 a.m.
Yeah.
Evening session is at 7. So you'll be delivered on Zoom, and then you will send the notes prior to class.
Yeah.
Get them to print it out.
So all new classes, I would say the first month is usually printed out. I will go through it, like very similar ones, and then I'll teach first, and then they'll try to do it on their own, and then we discuss the answer, like, you know, we take turns discussing, and then they will try the next one on their own. So it's basically the 1.5 hour. I won't say there's much homework, but it will be on hands learning where you do the work and the testing of the skills. So we will actually share the video for those who have missed the class, that they can go through it. But we know that that's not very effective. So what we do is that we actually have like 5 makeup lessons with the students. Wow. So usually the makeup should be 1-to-1 because that's where you could really focus on what you've gone through.
Right.
So we want to make sure that you really know the things so that in the next session when we're talking about this, you can actually pick up. Okay, so you get 3 hours per day, 21 hours per week, and then 84 hours per month. That is just online lessons. And English will be grammar, vocabs, and vocab will come to spelling, and then composition, which is how to write, structuring, power words, and also some of the examples that we give you to do.
For us, our audience, do you have anything special for them if they sign up with you?
Yes. So me and Sue, we've decided to give 5% discount on those who would like to sign up with us.
และพิเศษนะคะสำหรับทุกคนที่ sign up คอร์ส AEIS Pantheon เนี่ยผ่าน Cubris Education ทางครูเน่เนี่ยจะแถมให้น้องๆ e-writing course นะคะมูลค่า 4,000 บาทนะคะตัว e-writing ตัวเนี้ยทางเราจะส่งท็อปิกให้น้องๆเนี่ยเขียนทุกสัปดาห์นะคะเพราะว่าการทักษะการเขียนต้องหมั่นฝึกฝนและมีครูนะคะที่เชี่ยวชาญในด้านหลักสูตรเนี้ยมาตรวจให้น้องๆเพื่อที่น้องๆเนี่ยจะได้เรียนรู้ได้เร็วที่สุดนะคะทางเราจะส่งท็อปิกให้น้องนะคะและก็หลังจากสัปดาห์ที่ 4 นะคะคุณเน่เนี่ยจะรีวิวและก็ตรวจเอเซกับน้องเนี่ยไปด้วยกันด้วย